Welcome to Harmony Children's Corner. My name is Dave. This is the COVID Home Edition number 19 for August 23rd. Now, for those of you who were paying attention last week, you may have noticed that I didn't say COVID Home Edition. I actually said the COVID Home Edition, which I didn't even notice till it played on Sunday morning, and I felt really foolish. So, maybe some of you noticed that. Maybe some of you noticed that there's one thing in the picture that I change every week. Maybe some of you noticed that. Anyways, okay, this week. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. When I was younger, I'd be like 8.5, 9 years old, I got a baby brother, my brother Paul. So like I'm 9, 10, 11, he's 1, 2, 3, you know. So when my parents went out, they would get a babysitter. They needed a babysitter because I'm not quite old enough to take care of him. You know, I'm 10, 11. So my parents would call, and they usually called Liga. Now, and my dad called her Helga, and I don't know why, but I wasn't big on Liga. She was okay, but, you know. But when she wasn't available, that was quite a bit sometimes, they would call the McPherson girls. And there was Patricia and Sharon and Wendy. I'm pretty sure it was Wendy. And it's funny because she was my favorite. She was the oldest. She'd be like 19, 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there. And she was the nicest. She was the one they'd send over. And she had little sisters, had families, so she knew how to treat kids. She was really good to me. She'd play games with me, and she'd, let me do things, and she gave me some space, and she let me go out and play. So because she was so good to me, because I liked her, because it worked really well for her, she was good at it, she was really good at it, then I would do things for her. Like if she told me it was time to come in, I'd come in. She told me to clean up, I'd clean up. She said, help your little brother clean up, help him clean up, and can you help me take a bath? So, take a bath and help him take a bath. But she was good, and because she was good, it made me do, good for her. Like I was a good kid for her, and it was really good. Now, sometimes Wendy couldn't be there, and they would send Sharon over. Now, Sharon was about 16, 17, and she was okay. She didn't do anything wrong. She just wasn't as good. She wasn't excited. She didn't play games with me. Like, she got me to bed on time. She made sure Paul had his bath, and she made sure everything was cleaned up, and I cleaned in on time. So everything was right. We did all things right, but it just wasn't like with Wendy. Like, I didn't have the fun. I did what I was supposed to, and I wasn't, she was okay, But I remember one time, and I'm getting to be, like, Paul must have been like 3, 4, so I must have been like 12, 13, maybe 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. And the McPherson girls, the older Sharon and Wendy, couldn't come, so they sent Patricia. Now, Patricia, she'd have been like 13, 14, like just in there, so just older than me. We hung out on the street. We played, so it was like, it wasn't babysitting. We sat beside each other and watched TV, and, instead of her telling Paul to do things, it was me, basically. Okay, Paul, it's time to clean up. And okay, Paul, and we should do this now. And she really didn't babysit. She was just there. And the truth of the matter is that was the last time my parents ever got a babysitter for me, because they saw how, basically it was foolish to have her, and I was doing everything anyways, so it was kind of, now that story, it reminds me of a story that Jesus told once. He was talking to the guys, the disciples, and he says, there was a rich man, he had a lot of stuff, and he had to go on a trip. He was going to go on a really, really long trip. It was going to be for a long time. He was going to be away for quite a while. And he had these 3 servants. And he called the first servant in. Now, this first servant, he really trusted him. This was his best servant, his good guy. And he said to him, look, buddy, I'm going away. I'm going away for a long time. I'm not sure when I'll be back, but I trust you. I have faith in you. I'm going to I'm going to leave you with 5,000 gold coins. 5,000 gold coins, and when I come back, we'll see, what you've done with them, how they lasted for you, how you did, okay, but I trust you, and off he went, and that was good. And then the master called in the second servant, and he, this guy wasn't quite as good as the first one. He's pretty good, good guy, just wasn't as fired up, So he said to him, hey, pal, I've got to go away for a long time. I'm going far away. I'm not sure when I'm going to come back, but I trust you. I have faith in you. I'm going to leave you with 2,000 gold coins. 2,000 gold coins. And you can do what you want with them. And then when I come back, we'll see, how it went, what you did, and say, well, okay, and I trust you, And the guy with 2,000 coins, off he went, And then there was the last servant. And the last servant was okay, but it wasn't his best servant. And it wasn't his second best servant, it was his, well. So he called him in, and he says, look, bud, I trust you. I have faith in you. I'm going away for a long time. I don't know when I'll be back, but I'm going to leave you with 1,000 gold coins. 1,000 gold coins, and I want you to take care of them. I want you to do what you want with them. But when I come back, see what you've done and see how you've done it. Okay, so the guy went out. Now the first guy, the guy with 5,000 coins. There was a reason he was the favorite servant, the best guy, because he was good. He went out and he invested in, and I don't know whether he bought a company or he invested in Google or what he did, but he went out and he turned his 5,000 gold coins into 10,000 gold coins. Now I don't know if he still had living expenses, he still had to do things, but when the master was going to come back, he was able to have 10,000 gold coins. That's how much he had saved so far. All right. Now the guy with the 2,000. He did, I'm more impressed with him because he went out and he turned his 2,000 into 2,000 more. Same thing again. He had the living expense, he had to do, but somehow he turned his 2,000 into 2,000 more. And I think it's harder to turn 2 to 2 into another 2 and 5 into another 5. So I'm really impressed with the second guy. I think he did great, But same thing again. He doubled his money, and he was sitting there with $4,000, and then the last guy. Now the last guy, he was kind of scared. He didn't want to lose the money, and he didn't want to spend it on things, and he didn't want to just have somebody steal it from him, and he was scared to invest it. He said, no, I'll lose it. So what he did was he dug a hole in the ground and buried it. And nobody saw, it's good there. Yeah, all right, never going to lose that money. It's there, perfect. Master comes back, I got it. And sure enough, that's what happened. The master came back. And he called the first servant and he said, hey, how you doing? It's good to be back. I left you with 5,000 gold coins. How you been? And the servant says, well, master, I turned your 5,000 gold coins into 10,000 gold coins. And the master says, wow, well done, you good and faithful servant. My goodness. Your faithfulness is impressed. You're so trustworthy. I'm so impressed. What you've done with it, this little bit that I've given you, I'm going to give you bunches more, like bunches and bunches and bunches. This is just a little bit to how much more I'm going to give you, I'm going to trust you with, I'm going to have faith in you with. Thank you, that was great, thank you. And he calls in the second servant. He says, well, I'm gone, how you been? I left you with 2,000 gold coins. How'd you do? And the second servant says, well, I was able to turn your 2,000 into 2,000 more, so I've got 4,000 gold coins. And the master says, amazing. That's absolutely well done. Good and faithful servant. I'm so impressed. I'm so glad I trusted you, that you're so trustworthy, you're faithful, that you did exactly what, that's great. I'm so impressed with you. Thank you so very much. This little bit that I've given you, I'm going to give you so much more. Huge bundles and hundreds of times more. Just bundles, so much more than this little bit now. Because you were so faithful with this little bit that I gave you, I'm going to give you so much more, like way bundles. And then he calls in the last guy. He says to him, hey, how you doing? I've been gone for a while. I'm back now. I left you with 1,000 gold coins. How'd you do? And the servant, he says, well, master, I know that you're a tough master, and sometimes you take what's not even yours. So I was scared, and I buried it in the field. But then I didn't lose it. Like, I still got it all. Nobody stole it. Nobody took any. I didn't spend any of it. It's all right here. Look. I've got 1,000 gold coins still. 1,000 gold coins. The master says, really? Really? I mean, you could have at least put it in the bank. At least I would have got interest on it. But no, you put it. Really? Oh, I'm going to take your 1,000 gold coins and give them to the other two guys. You worthless servant. I cannot believe. And what Jesus ended up saying, the moral of the story is that those who have a little will have lots more. If those who have a little and can be trusted with that little, they will have so much more. But those who have nothing will end up with even more nothing. And I think it put it in words I think we can understand this. I think he's talking about faith. Those of us who have a little bit of faith, and we act on our faith, and we're faithful. We do what we think we're supposed to. And even if it's just a little bit, because we're acting on it, because we're doing what we're supposed to, God will increase our faith and make it bigger and bigger, and we will just, the warmth and the faith will just grow and grow and grow, and it'll be so great, and we'll be full. And I think that's what God means. For those of you who have little but who act on it, you'll have so much more, so much more. But for those of you who have nothing, if you have no faith, then you're going to even have so much little, nothing more. Like if you have no faith, you get nothing. Those of us who have faith, we believe in an eternal life and a life with God and with Jesus and his hand on us right here on an earth. But if you don't believe that, if you have nothing, if you don't have any of that faith, if you can't hold on to that little bit that maybe you've got and you just kind of go, well, I don't know, it's not really, I don't know. If you're doing that, then that's going to go. He's going to even take that little bit away from you, and you'll have nothing. But for the ones who would think, God, I got no use for that. What a bunch of, you know what he says they're going to happen? They're going to end up in the darkness, crying and gnashing their teeth. I don't want to do that. So the little bit of faith I have, I'm going to try and grow. And I try. I'm not the best. I know I'm not the best. But I also try every day. I never give up. Come back the next day. I blow it every day. I blow it at some point, whatever. But I just keep coming back because I know there's a God. I know he forgives me. I know Jesus came for me. So if you have some faith, let it grow. Let it just burst through like that little seed that grows into a huge plant. All right? I think that's what I got for today. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye-bye.